These are stories which come from the Facebook page Humans of New York by Brendan Stanton. The first story is about a man, apparently, who rebelled against his family and chose to stop going to university, which is the meaning I dropped out of college. And to show his rebellion, he got a mohawk and started to do a lot of slam dancing. He wanted to rebel against his successful dad, who became an attorney or a lawyer, and his brother, who was a diplomat. He got a job as an artist in a place called Coney Island, south of Manhattan. And he doesn't really know what he's trying to escape from. That's what he said, and that he has become an outsider. So this is the type of haircut he got, a mohawk, in other words, to stand out. This is what his father does. He's a lawyer, he works in a court of justice and he pleads cases. And this is Coney Island, and what he refers as a freak, probably somebody who does shows and I don't know. So the question that I'm going to ask you is what is the reason he tried to be different from this text? What made him want to be different from the rest of his family? Second paragraph is about somebody who's supposedly crazy, that we call bipolar. He's talking about God and that he can hear his prayers in his mind, through his mind. Sometimes he sees people gathering, that is to say, come together around him. So there's a question whether or if this man is really crazy or if he is sane. It's a strange story. So the question I'd like to ask you is to build a sentence from this. Use a link word which indicates a consequence or a reason. My family put me in a hospital and they said I was bipolar. Can you change "and" with another word, please? Paragraph number 3 is about a failure, somebody who had dreams. She thought that she would have a different life in New York City with a change of scenery, that is to say, a different place, a different environment. And she dreamed to be, she was a wannabe, she wanted to be like Carrie Bradshaw. So let's see what Carrie Bradshaw looks like. She's the famous character from the series Sex and the City, adapted from a bestseller, who tells the story of a successful young woman in New York City who has a lot of fun with her friends. So apparently she seems to have failed since she spends a lot of time alone. She believes that she's a burden, that is to say a weight, a dead weight, in French un fardeau, for people around her, and she doesn't know if the sad part of her can compensate, outweigh the parts of her that she finds interesting or good. She spends a lot of time alone, and she's jealous of what's going on in other people's lives, since she says, I see people hanging out, that is to say, going out, without me. In your copybook, try to explain this sentence in your English. I'm not the protagonist of reality. I can't expect good relationship to happen just because I exist. Try to explain what she means in this sentence. Story number 3 is a really sad story about a man, since he had a girlfriend, who used to be a drug addict and who lost his mother. It's also a story of lies and of theft, since his mother stole from him his loan checks, that is to say the money he got to study. And when he got the bill that is to say, how much it cost, he realized that his mother had been lying to him. One day she became ill. She tried to contact Michael, but he refused to talk. She died soon after that, and he regrets having said he didn't want to speak to her. So he wishes he hadn't pushed her away, or he wishes he had answered the phone call. He believed that his mother didn't like him, didn't love him. So he refers to the character Cinderella, who is a Disney character, a princess. So there's probably identity problems or issues in his life. The question I want to ask you about this paragraph is to rephrase the character's Michael's regrets. So what does he regret in this paragraph? Just a short note that baking soda is the powder you use in cakes to make the dough grow. The last paragraph is a sad story of a man who ends up alone. He came from Botswana, and now his sister has decided to go back to Botswana in Africa. So he'll be on his own, that is to say, alone, and he starts to worry. It's also the common element of all these stories is the fact that these people wanted either to become someone different by moving or by changing places, and they were trying to fulfill a dream and become a success, sometimes against their family or just against themselves when they turned out to be crazy. So these stories have in common the fact of changing scenery, changing spaces, to expect something better in their lives, more friends, more happiness, or surprises in their lives that sometimes don't happen.